So then, we're back with another Rebirth gameplay because Rebirth is the only game mode that's pretty viable at the moment. And I said this in the last gameplay video when we were talking about the MP5, but it seems to still be the case that cheaters have taken over Verdansk, and therefore us regular people have to play Rebirth. Now, I enjoyed Verdansk more than Rebirth, to be completely honest, but in the current state of the game, there's just no way we're able to play that game mode. What it has allowed me to do though is just test out different guns all the time, because inside Rebirth I think most of the guns are very viable in this, because you're mainly looking at medium to close range gunfights, and most ARs and SMGs can handle that very well. So that's why I do think the meta is very open for Rebirth. Even LMGs can fit into the mix here as well. Now, this video is actually inspired by Tommy. Now, Tommy is one of the best players in Warzone, and he was using the PPSH for some of his gameplay, and I thought I'd try it out because the last time I tried out the PPSH, it wasn't really that great of a weapon, because other weapons such as the Bullfrog and the Milano were just way better options, especially for Rebirth. So that's why I wanted to try it out again, and the main difference is that I switched out the 71 round drum mags for the 55 round drum mags. Now, it seems like a silly idea. You want the biggest magazine possible, and this is always what I thought when using the PPSH, but it slows down your movement just way too much. It gives you such a slow ADS that it doesn't become viable, especially inside Rebirth where most of your gunfights are close range. Now, if you do enjoy this gameplay, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. And also click that link in the description and subscribe to our main channel. We do post stat content over there as well. So if you want to see in-depth breakdowns of all these different weapons, then subscribe over there too. But after playing both with the MAC-10 as well as with the PPSH with this build that I'm going to show you at the end of this video, I've realized that the PPSH, especially for controller players, is definitely the better option. The difference in TTK between these two guns is non-existent. The strafe speed and movement speed is very similar. The rate of fire is very similar too. And the mag size, when you compare both of these builds, is also very similar too. And then obviously you get the same kind of movement speeds with both of these weapons. So what is the main difference, and why is the PPSH better than the MAC-10 in my opinion? And the reason why it's better is because you do get some insane aim assist with the PPSH. I have no idea why, but it feels just way more stickier than the MAC-10 for some reason. If you see some of these gunfights, you can see that I just lock onto targets just way easier now. I don't have any sort of cheats on. I don't play with that kind of stuff. I'm not good enough anyway, so you'd notice that throughout the gameplay. But for some reason, the PPSH just feels way better than the MAC-10 when you're using it at close range. And you still also get that insane movement speed as well, so you're still getting the benefit of the MAC-10 with this weapon right here. Now, on top of that, of course we're using the Krig as well, which is also a very accurate weapon and a very easy weapon to use, especially for controller players, and you'll see a lot of that throughout this gameplay as well. I actually have two gameplays here. The first, as you can see, I'm on 8 kills just now. I actually end this game on 10. But with the second gameplay, you actually see the Krig a lot more in the gameplay, and as you can see, that's such an easy weapon to control, and that also has that very sticky aim assist as well. And this is like the controller player's dream class setup, whether it's for Verdansk or for Rebirth. I was definitely struggling to find what my next favourite SMG is, and I did try the PPSH for a while when it first came out, but obviously it was very powerful then, and it has had some changes since then. But now it does feel great again inside Rebirth especially. And here you can see me try and clutch up the win for this gameplay, and I absolutely screw it up. I died to the gas. It was a very bad play I made right here to go in this tunnel, and there was pretty much no way out. I spent too much time reloading my weapons, and I didn't even have a gas mask, so I died at the end there. Now here's where you'll see the Krig do extremely well. Now before, when I used to play Rebirth, I used to play with two close range weapons. So I'd use a close range AR, something like the XM4 for example, or the Cold War AK, and then an SMG, or maybe like an SMG with a shotgun. But these are the kind of kills I would always miss out on, some really easy long range kills. And this is some of the easiest kills you could pick up, especially with this Krig build. This is just a super insanely accurate gun that I feel like is the best long range weapon in the game right now. A lot of people are using the C58, and that is pretty powerful too. But I just feel like the Krig feels so much better than the Farah or the C58 at the current moment. And like I said, this loadout is all for the controller players. If you just want to forget that recoil exists, then just use the Krieg. It's such an easy gun to use, and you see me beaming people like halfway across the map right now with this gun because it has no recoil whatsoever with this build. I heard the glass break to my right, and I instantly knew this guy was going to come to push me, and this is where the PPSH does so well. We both kind of shot at the same time, roughly. I think I did shoot the guy first, but just because I was able to jump and move really quickly with the PPSH movement speed, I did get the upper hand, and I was only down to my full health plus an armor plate, which is still a pretty decent amount of health to take on another opponent if there was someone else pushing me after that. And that's why the movement speed on this gun is so important. And it's something that I do feel that the Modern Warfare MP5 just lacks so much, is that strafing speed bonus. And just because of the movement stats alone, the Cold War weapons are just a meta inside Warzone. It doesn't matter how fast that Modern Warfare MP5 has a TTK. I mean, unless it's something ridiculous, of course. And honestly, this kind of brings me on to the point about the perks that are going to be changing inside Warzone. I feel like they need to add on a perk that gives you that strafe speed back, because I really miss the strafe meta. If there was a perk inside Warzone that boosts your strafe speed by about 7% to 10%, I would choose that over most perks in the game, because I love that strafe meta. Being able to dodge bullets was so cool for me inside Warzone, and I think that'd be insanely good, especially to add it on some of the Modern Warfare weapons that never had it. I think that'd be a really cool perk to have. Personally, I would choose that perk over Ghost, but we just need to wait and see what they do with the perks, but that's not what this video is all about. And in this situation, I was really stuck here. I was trying to just get the enemies distracted so I could get inside this building and get plated up. I didn't have any armor plates, which is a bit tough. And then now I'm going to look out of this window again to see if I can get some easy picks with this Krieg once again. And these are the kind of easy kills you can get with the Krieg, like I said before, because this gun has pretty much no recoil. You can see me beam enemies so easily at long range. For some reason, this proximity mine never exploded when I was trying to shoot it. I don't know what was going on there, but I ignored that and just tried to kill the guy instead. And as you can see here, I was actually bobbing up and down. I didn't realize this guy didn't have a sniper or not, so I decided to kind of snake. It's not really snaking because it's not as good as snaking, but it's enough to kind of move the enemy off target if they do have a sniper rifle trying to aim for my head. And again, unfortunately, we were not able to clutch up this gameplay either. I did manage to get a decent amount of kills in this Rebirth gameplay, and I killed the last guy with a PPSH to end things off. But unfortunately, this guy just kept spamming RPGs into this building, and I eventually did die from it. So here is the class setup I was using for this Rebirth gameplay. We're using the Krieg with the PPSH, which is, of course, was the main star of the show here. But let's go over the Krieg class setup. Now, this is the usual class setup you'd find for the Krieg. And for the muzzle, you do want to use the agency suppressor for the sound suppression, vertical recoil control, bullet velocity, and effective damage range bonuses. Then for the barrel, you've got two different options here, and we've made a full video on our main channel discussing the differences between the mil-spec and the Ranger barrel, but the one we were using in the gameplay was the mil-spec barrel, just for the best recoil control possible. And there's not a huge difference between the recoil control on the Ranger and the mil-spec, but you do get a little bit extra bullet velocity on the mil-spec as well. Then for the optic, we are using the axial 3x optic on this gun, and I do like to use the axial 3x, my favorite optic in this game. Then I do customize the reticle to the precision reticle. I do think this is the best reticle for the axial optic. Then for the ammunition, you do want to use the 60 round Stanag mags. This is the best magazine for the Krieg. And I have seen a couple of different builds for this gun. Now, I have used it without any underbarrel and used the serpent wrap, and I think this works quite well inside Rebirth as an overall build, because you do get a decent amount of recoil control from the barrel by itself. But in the gameplay, I was actually using the Field Agent foregrip, so this is the build I would recommend. So then for the main weapon is the PPSH. Now, the PPSH build that we were using here was the GRU suppressor for the vertical recoil control and the bullet velocity. Then for the barrel, we're actually using the Task Force barrel. Now, this is the best barrel for SMGs when it comes to Cold War weapons. And the reason for that is for its strafing speed bonuses. Now, you do get bullet velocity and damage range, which of course is beneficial to your weapon overall. But the strafe speed is the most important thing here, and especially on weapons like the MAC-10 and the PPSH, where these are some of the fastest moving guns in the game. You do want to make sure you take advantage of that inside Rebirth. because not only will you be landing a lot of your shots, but you'll be making your enemy miss a lot of shots as well, and that is why a lot of the pro players go for these kind of weapons. So you do want to use the Task Force barrel, then you want to go for the Tiger Team Spotlight, again for that faster movement overall. Then for the stock, you can choose the PKM stock. This is going to give you that faster strafing speed once again, and it also gives you a fast ADS walking movement speed, so if you're trying to walk around corners whilst ADS, is going to help out a ton. And then lastly, I was using the 55 round drum. I do really wish I could use the 71 round drum without hurting your ADS too much, but I do think this hurts your ADS way too much, and that's why I was going for the 55 round drum. Now, you could swap out the Tiger Team Spotlight for the Serpent Grip and then choose the 71 round mags. That is personal preference, but this was the build we were using. This overall class setup is a controller player's dream. It's so easy to manage both of these guns so easily, whether it's Rebirth or Verdansk, so I highly recommend trying it out. For perks, we're using the usual EOD Overkill Amped, throwing knives, because I like to use this inside Rebirth, and then stun grenades. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more gameplay content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers, and thank you very much for watching.